Hey, my lovely audience. Today I'm going to read this book, The Ugly Duckling. So let's get started. It was a bright and lovely summer. In this beautiful countryside, a duck was sitting on her eggs. It was taking time to hatch the eggs. After a little while, the eggs cracked and little ducklings began to come out one by one, and they cried, "Peep, peep." There was one large egg which had not cracked so far. When it cracked, there appeared a big and ugly duckling. He was so different from others. The ugly duckling was big and not soft like the other ducklings. His mother thought that it was not hatched from her own eggs. He did swim well, and the mother duck loved him, thinking that one day he would become soft and good looking, like his brothers. When he grew bigger, other ducklings teased him as his appearance did not change. An old duck always compared him with other ducklings and often said that he was so big and ugly. Even his brothers and sisters disliked him. Other farm animals also teased him. One day, his mother decided to send him where the wild ducks lived. He had to go through the forest all alone. The noises of strange animals and trees in the jungle panicked him. When a rabbit crossed by his side, he was so frightened that he stopped walking. Everything looked different to him. He moved around in panic. It was also very dark and cold in the jungle. After crossing the jungle, he reached a marsh. He could not make friends with the wild ducks. The ugly duckling lived in terror in the marsh as the hunter and dogs always scared him. He would hide himself in the tall grasses. From the marsh, he moved to the field nearby, but there also he felt lonely and unhappy. He then went on to live in a cottage near the forest. It belonged to an old woman. After some days of his stay in the cottage, the old woman came to know that he cannot lay eggs. She found him of no use to her and sent him away. Then came the winter. Ugly duckling lay frozen on the side of a lake. A peasant rescued him. Otherwise, he would have died due to extreme cold. He took him to his home. The children of the peasant provided warmth to him and looked after him with care. He recovered slowly, and the children always thought of playing with him when he would recover. The children were happy that he had become hale and hearty and wanted to feed him. But he thought that as he was ugly, they would tease him. He always feared them, thinking that they would hurt him. He would hide himself from the children who were always after him. One day, when the children were playing with him, he started running here and there to hide himself. In the confusion, he hit a bucket containing milk and it fell down over the floor. Then, to escape from this, he fell on the floor. The cook shouted at him and he ran out of the house. The winter was over and then came the spring. The ugly duckling reached a big lake and saw big and beautiful white birds. The ugly duckling started swimming with them. He lowered his head in frustration. He happened to see a new face in the water. He thought hard as to who he was. Aha! It was him. He had changed. He looked like a beautiful white swan. He was now one of them. Now he changed after the long cold days of winter surprised him. He felt very happy and confidently swam with other swans, and he never had to hide himself again. He was no more ashamed of being an ugly duckling and never had to live alone again. He lived in the company of beautiful and delicate swans. Children, the moral of the ugly duckling story is to accept people for their qualities, their values, their friendship, and their humility. Do not judge others because of how they look. So if you like this story, do subscribe my channel Read Aloud Kids for more such interesting videos. Thank you. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.